Yes, you look just as good as anyone else, don't you? I know, kiddo, what you're thinking. I know you're thinking, why, if I loved her so much, would I with these very hands end it all? Why would I kill her if I loved her? You don't understand, kiddo, because you're of a different age. You don't know what love is. Love is something more than just living and breathing. Love carries on even when you're dead. She was unfaithful, kiddo. She wanted to love someone else, someone younger. So what was I to do? You want your mother to go around with every single man she sees on the street whenever she likes, just like that? Oh, I loved her so much, kiddo, that I had to end her. I had to finish it before she disgraced herself. You and me, but more than that. Her and the love we shared. That was obviously not enough, was it? She wanted more. Someone younger. Someone more attractive looking. Maybe she got bored with having what she could have so easily, so she tried to get something that she couldn't. Tried to prove to herself something that she didn't ever really need to prove, kiddo. So you have to understand that I did it for her. I found them together on that bed of lust. There they were, enraptured in what they probably thought was love, but it was not love at all. I killed him first. With my bare hands I killed him. She screamed and writhed in agony as she watched. And then I went over to her. I kissed her upon the lips. One final kiss goodbye. And then, as tears began to roll down my eyes, I battered her to death with a hammer. It seemed more appropriate than to use my hands. How could I use my hands that loved her so much? How could I use anything from my body to kill her with? It had to be something external, something cold, something that had nothing to do with either of us. Whereas that man, I could easily strangle him, but not her. How would I then look at my hands every day after? Oh, it always was very hard to do, but you see, it had to be done. It had to be put to an end. And then I went outside and I buried them, far apart from each other. I said a little prayer, hoping that despite their immorality, they reached the gates of heaven. Oh, I don't worry about myself. It's her I worry about. That's what love is. It transcends any of what I've done. You see? You understand? Oh, you don't, do you? However much I try to explain to you, you'll never understand what I had to do. You think me cold. You think me a killer, don't you? You think that I'm wrong, I'm immoral, I'm evil. And yet am I not your father? You not know how I have loved your mother, how I loved you. How love was so important that I had to make it right. You understand that or not? Maybe you don't. Maybe you never will. Maybe it won't take till you're old. Till you have a love of your own. Till you see that love go off with another person. Till you see and feel the very pain of losing something that you thought was your own. Then you will understand what this pain is. At the moment you have no comprehension of this pain because you never felt love. Do you know what it is to have love? To hold it in your hands. To watch it disappear in front of you and not be able to do anything about it. It is like being on the tallest mountain you can imagine, holding onto a piece of very thin rope. and you'll see the rope start to twist and turn as the wind starts to blow it. And you see the rope tangle, and you see it start to fray, and slowly you know that it will not be able to hold your weight, and then it is gone. Your fingers are released from that piece of rope, that string, and then you're falling inexorably to the ground. It doesn't matter how much you try to reach to the top of it, you'll never get hold of it. You'll never ever hold it again until you fall to the ground, and then you feel that pod. You feel that imprint upon your heart. Can you imagine what that feels like? No, you can't, can you? Because you have no comprehension of it, because you've never been in love. Not proper, real love. To love something so much that you can't even be without it. That even your sleeping hours are consumed by the very thought of her. You have no comprehension of this. You have no way of knowing the moment when I found the confidence to speak to this woman, to make her my own. How the nights before, I would not even be able to sleep. I would be thinking of her over and over again, what I would say, trying to build that confidence. I would spend even my sleeping hours dreaming of how I would find her heart mine, all the fantasies that would happen, what I would feel if she neglected me. And then to get that, to finally get that woman and make her your own, to put a ring on her finger and think that she's there forever for you, and she is not. To lose that which no man should ever lose, the love that is cultivated like a flower, like a rose, with his own very fair hands, has nourished the earth, that makes its rose beautiful. And then someone else comes and plucks it out from you, and they take it for their own, so easily. And who knows what their intentions are? Do you think this man would have made your mother happy? Do you think he would have kept on to her? No, he wouldn't. You know what he's like. He would have picked that rose, and then he would have discarded it into the gutter, and let it fall down the drain and get dirty for everyone to see. And then he would go and pick another rose, and then another, and then another. He has no concern over love, over the heart. So what was I supposed to do? Was I supposed to let your mother die in disgrace? Was I supposed to let the world see what she had become? No, kiddo, I couldn't do that. I could not lose that love. I could not let go of that stray. I would have to take her with me. And so I did, and I took him as well. And I kicked him into the ground when I buried him. I kicked him so deep. His face was blue and red. No one would ever recognize him again. And no one should. And her I wrapped up in the white blanket, placed like a shroud into the ground, so carefully that she didn't even bang her hand or her head. I know you're thinking, kiddo, how ironic that is, that I battered her with a hammer, and yet I put her into the ground so carefully that it didn't hurt, and she had no way of feeling that hurt. But it was the love I tried to show. The love that has gone from me now that I know I shall never feel again. You know? Kiddo, you don't. I don't know what I should do without her. Now I have to leave you, kiddo. And when you play this back, you'll understand why your father is in prison. Give myself up. Kiddo, I love you. I loved your mother very much. You must remember that. Yeah, that'll do. You enjoy that? Cool. Take care, take it easy, and peace.